Hello everybody and welcome to day 25 of 30 Days of Godzilla. Today we'll be discussing the movie Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, or as it's known in Japan as Godzilla X Megaguirus, the G Elimination Project. Again, the title's a little long, why not just go with Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, but I guess in Japan they just like to make their titles as long as possible.
This one here is another okay entry. Its plot is a little bit more clever than the typical Godzilla film, but as a whole it just doesn't do anything for me.
You'd think this movie would follow up on the last movie, because at the end, remember, Godzilla destroys like all of Japan, but again, it's another one of those direct reboot sequels to the original. I can understand that for like the first entry in like the Millennium series, but do they really feel the need to do that again? Why does the Millennium series constantly have to keep rebooting things? It's like, oh, we didn't like it, reboot. We didn't like it, reboot. They do this constantly.
The plot of this one revolves around the military, who builds a weapon called the Dimension Tide that fires miniature black holes. So instead of killing Godzilla, they just want to move him out of the way. I mean, you don't always have to kill everything. Anyways, during one of their tests, the device opens a wormhole which brings back a prehistoric dragonfly egg. This egg that hatches into a creature called Megaguirus.
Now, the Megaguirus itself actually made its first appearance in the 1956 film Rodan. Although in that film they just ate miners, but at the same time it's kind of cool to see them bring back elements from previous movies that were not really explored much. It kind of reminds me of, I know it's a weird example, but in the movie Prometheus, where you know how there was the space jockey, well, they just centered something around that plot element. It's just like, oh well, we got this plot element here we never explored, so let's bring that up and see if we can make a movie out of it. So I guess that's pretty cool.
The Megaguirus that hatches attacks and kills some people, and it's actually a pretty gross and kind of eerie moment. It eventually evolves into its second form called Megaguirus. From that point on, it reproduces hundreds of other creatures and floods the city. Meanwhile, the military lures Godzilla into their black hole trap, but the device doesn't seem to get the job done.
Eventually, the Megaguirus all show up, like thousands of them, to attack Godzilla, but as expected, they don't seem to do shit against him.
A few of the Megaguirus survive and manage to inject some of Godzilla's energy into the queen Megaguirus called Megaguirus. The adult Megaguirus ends up doing battle against Godzilla in a fight that's actually more intense than you would think it would be.
At first glance, you would be like, that thing against Godzilla? I don't think so, but it actually puts up a pretty decent fight.
The two moments that stand out to me the most in this movie are when Megaguirus stabs Godzilla right in the dick. Yes, she in fact stabs Godzilla right in the dick, which is pretty nasty to see. The other part, I can't say. I just have to show you.
Wasn't that just amazing? He just flies out of the air and just does a body slam straight onto Megaguirus. It's honestly like one of the funniest moments in the entire series. It's like a classic throwback moment. I'd include it up there with the Godzilla tail slide from Godzilla vs. Megalon. Why do they do it? Where does it come from? I don't know. You just gotta have it in there. It makes it seem a lot more memorable than what it really is. It's a great moment, bottom line. It's hilarious.
Anyways, after the body slam, Megaguirus tries to do an energy blast on Godzilla, but it doesn't kill him. So Godzilla ends up destroying Megaguirus by blasting the fucking shit out of her with his atomic breath. Afterwards, the military blasts Godzilla with the black hole device, and he is seemingly gone for good, until an after-credit scene reveals that Godzilla is still alive.
And that's a plot line that would never be followed up on again, because they would once again, if the next entry in the series, reboot the whole damn thing and make it another one of those direct sequels to the original.
So that is Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. This is another pretty lackluster entry in the series. I mean, I think the music is great, but Megaguirus is an opponent that I just don't care for. The CGI is garbage at times. Aside from the Godzilla body slam, nothing really stands out to me in this movie as being memorable. I think it has a little bit more creativity with the black hole device, and I think it was pretty cool to see somebody actually get to ride on Godzilla, but I'd say that unless you're a hardcore Godzilla fan like me, then you can probably skip this one and go straight to the next entry in the series, because it is a whole hell of a lot better than this one.
Now, as you can tell by the fact that today's review is a little bit shorter than usual, it's just because I don't have very many feelings for this one. So, as always everybody, I thank you all for watching. Be sure to come back tomorrow because the next movie is pretty damn good. I thank you all for watching. Have an awesome night, and sayonara.